Do you struggle with holiday weight gain? I used to too. The holidays used to wreck my progress until I found a few simple tweaks that allowed me to enjoy the holidays but still maintain my weight. So in this video, I'm going to go over the mistakes that I used to make and the solutions that I used to solve them. For years, I've tracked my weight and I started noticing a similar pattern repeating year after year. Generally, I would be on track with my weight throughout most of the year. And then starting around October, going into January, I'd be gaining weight. Sometimes it was just a few pounds, but some years it was as much as 10 to 15 pounds during that time period. I've battled controlling food all my life. But starting around October with a lot of family events and then going into the holidays, this was always the most difficult time for me to control my food. All of these events with the food, the drinks, the desserts, it set up the perfect stage for me to indulge and to just fall back into my old habits. But over the last couple of years, I made some changes that allowed me to maintain my weight, enjoy the holidays, and not feel deprived. So here are the mistakes that I used to make and the solutions that helped me turn things around. Mistake 1, letting one meal of excess eating become many. One of the biggest mistakes that I used to make was that I would allow one overindulgent meal turn into many days of excess eating. Birthday celebrations, anniversaries, Halloween, holiday events all turned into multi-day events. A simple birthday dinner could turn into a multi-day eating celebration. Halloween candy would be around for days and I'd be snacking on it regularly. The more events that piled up, the more the number of days of excess eating multiplied. The solution? Get back on track as quickly as possible. One bad meal does not make you fat. What makes a difference is what happens afterwards. When I began to recognize this pattern, I asked myself, how many events do I have from, let's say, October through December? And the answer was maybe 7 over a period of 3 months. Why would that cause so much weight gain? The answer was clear. I needed to stop allowing one excessive meal turn into many. So when I had an event, I made a plan to get back on track as quickly as possible. Mistake number 2, allowing your weight to rise. I was not paying attention when my weight was going up. I was allowing it to continue to rise to higher and higher levels. The solution? Create an upper limit cap on your weight. So the solution was to identify the weight range that I was currently in and then be aware of when I hit the upper level or went past it, because that meant I was eating too much over a period of time and I was now setting myself up to go up into that higher next level. So the key is to address it quickly, stay on top of it, set a maximum level that you refuse to go over, and then if you hit that level, then you know it's time that you need to scale back and watch what you're eating. So by making adjustments right away, by cutting back a little bit, exercising more, being a little bit mindful of what you're eating, helped me keep the scale from going to that next level. Mistake number 3, giving up or just taking a break. So many times during this period when I would gain weight, I would say to myself, oh, I'll just start again in January. And that just turned into a disaster. Essentially, what it did was it removed any controls that I had in place or gave me permission to overindulge for weeks at a time. It gave me this free-for-all mentality to just eat whatever I wanted. The problem with this is doing that over a long period of time essentially ingrains very bad habits, and it's very, very difficult to get back on track after you've been doing it for so long. The solution? Set goals for yourself to keep you on track. So instead of going into the holidays with this I'll start after the new year attitude, I started setting realistic goals for myself. Goals like I'm going to maintain my weight for the holidays, or I'm going to mindfully eat 80% of my meals, or I'm going to enjoy those few events guilt-free, but then get back on track right after. These goals helped me stay on track and kept me accountable during this time period. Mistake number 4, not having a plan or guidelines in place when I knew an event I was going to was going to have excess food, drinks, or desserts. The solution? Plan for the event. Now when I go into an event, I have a plan or some guidelines in mind of how I'm going to handle certain situations. For example, putting a smaller portion of food on my plate and telling myself that if I want more food, I could always go back. but having a smaller portion to start with rather than a big gigantic plate of food. Putting my fork down in between bites. I would take a bite of food, enjoy it, then pick up the fork again. It just slows down the pace of eating. Eating more slowly, enjoying the food rather than just inhaling it, and plan ahead for alcohol as well. Some alcoholic drinks have so many calories, so decide what are you going to drink and how much, and stick to it. And don't starve yourself before an event. Eat something light but filling so you're not going in hungry. I used to go to these events so ravenous because I starved myself all day beforehand and probably end up eating twice as much food than I normally would have. And most importantly, focus on the social aspect of the event. The food is just part of the experience. Having a plan like this allowed me to still enjoy the event, but it allowed me to do it with a little more control, which allowed me to get back on track more easily the next day. Mistake 5, feeling guilty or beating myself up. If I overindulged at an event, I used to beat myself up, judge myself harshly, feel guilty, and then, in an effort to make up for the damage that I did, I would go on a super strict diet for a few days. And that never ended well. Eventually, a few days later, I was just eating again. The solution is to get back on track without judgment. I found that feeling guilty or beating myself up or judging myself too harshly really has no benefit. It doesn't really help in any way. The key is to move forward without guilt. Don't go down a spiral of negativity. Just get back on track right away. And I've also learned that trying to make up for it by going on some strict regimen for a few days really just feels like punishment and generally leads to just more overeating. Instead, focus on what you did right or what can you improve on next time. This change in mindset can help you let go of the guilt and approach holiday eating more mindfully. And here are some additional tips for success. How to deal with social pressure. During the holidays, there's always somebody saying, hey, eat more of this, or try another portion, have a little dessert, try this drink that I made. It's okay to say no. If you don't want it, you don't have to eat it. But if you do want to try it, it's okay to take a smaller portion. And then take the time to enjoy it. Savor every bite. This way you can feel like you can have it without the feeling of needing to overdo it. Be aware of emotional eating. Let's face it, during the holidays, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, it could lead to using food as comfort. So one question to ask yourself is, am I eating this because I'm really hungry, or am I using it for comfort? And just by asking myself that question occasionally helps me control my food a little bit more and be aware of why I'm eating. And if you overeat, don't panic. Just get back on track like we said. And the best ways to do that is hydrate, drink water. It helps you process the food. Also, the next day, go for a light walk, some gentle exercise. Get back to your normal routine as quickly as you can. The holidays are a time to celebrate, enjoy time with your family and friends, and also indulge in the foods that you love. But you can do that all while still maintaining your weight. I hope this information will help you enjoy the holidays, be mindful of your habits, and help you get back on track when you need to. If you like what I had to say, click the like button, subscribe, stay active, and I'll see you in the next video.